You're not depressed. You're waking up. It hits you when you're alone late at night, the phone in your hand, heart heavy, mind spinning. It's not one bad day, not one mistake or heartbreak. It's more like the slow, steady erosion of yourself. At first, you tell yourself it's just temporary, that everyone feels this way. You convince yourself it's just a phase, a little off day, and it'll pass. But it doesn't. It lingers, creeping into your life like smoke under the door. You can't shake it, no matter how hard you try to distract yourself. You might even say, "I'm fine." You keep telling people you're fine. But deep down, you feel it, the emptiness, the gnawing sense that something is slipping away. It's not a breakdown. It's not about a lost job or broken relationships. It's something deeper, a quiet hollowness in your soul. You try to ignore it, cover it up with work, with socializing, with mindless distractions, but it doesn't work. The silence grows louder. The disconnection feels colder. The world keeps spinning around you, but you feel like you're standing still. The things that once excited you, your hobbies, your goals, your dreams, feel so far away, so out of reach. You're no longer living. You're just surviving. And that's when the question creeps in. What's wrong with me? It's not just the tiredness. It's not just the sadness. It's this strange numbness, this sense that you're disappearing, that the person you used to be is fading away. You're not sure what's happening, but you know you don't feel alive anymore. And that realization, that feeling of being trapped in a life that doesn't belong to you, is the heaviest burden. You might even say, it's just depression. You call it that because that's what everyone else calls it. That's what you've been taught. But what if you've been wrong? What if this feeling isn't the end of you, but the beginning? Carl Jung went through this exact darkness, and he didn't call it a breakdown. He called it a descent into the self. 6 years of facing the chaos within, 6 years of sitting in the dark. Jung didn't turn away from his own pain. He sat with it. He faced it head on, and what came from that descent became his most sacred and dangerous work. The Red Book, a book Jung never wanted to be published while he was alive. A book filled with madness, visions, symbols, gods, and shadows, and most importantly, a message for you. What if your depression isn't a sign of weakness, but a call to awaken? You see, what you're feeling right now might not be the end. It's a shift. It's your soul trying to get your attention, pulling you inward, urging you to leave behind the fake roles and superficial identity you've been carrying for so long. It's the soul's rebellion against living a lie. And like Jung, you're meant to walk through the fire, not to escape it, but to be transformed by it. You're not broken. You're being called inward. This is not the end of you. This is the beginning of something far greater. A journey into your deepest self, the part of you that has been buried, ignored, or forgotten. Jung called it the descent, a descent into the unconscious mind where your truest self awaits. It's terrifying, it's overwhelming, it's painful, but it's necessary. Jung spent years confronting his inner darkness, not to escape it, but to integrate it, to transform it. He didn't try to fix it. He didn't try to run from it. He listened to it. He made the darkness conscious. And that's when the real healing began. When you stop running, stop avoiding, stop pretending, you start hearing the truth. The truth about who you really are, beneath all the masks and roles you've been playing. The truth about your soul. And that's the journey you're on right now. You don't have to fight it. You don't have to pretend you're okay. You don't have to keep pushing through life pretending everything's fine. What you need is to listen, to sit with your pain, your sadness, your confusion, your emptiness. Let it speak to you. Let it teach you. Because in the chaos, in the stillness, in the darkness, that's where you'll find your truth. This isn't just depression. This is a soul awakening, a process of transformation that begins when you stop resisting, stop denying, and start listening. It's scary, but it's also the most liberating thing you'll ever experience. You're not broken. You're being called inward. Your soul is trying to speak to you. Will you listen? You've been running your whole life. Running from what? From yourself? From the parts of you that scare you? From the darkness inside that feels too big, too overwhelming? But running hasn't worked. You can't outrun what's inside you. It always catches up. It waits. And when it does, it doesn't come as some external enemy. It comes as a part of you, a fragment of yourself that you tried to bury. But it's not going to stay buried, not anymore. You know the feeling, the anxiety that hits when you're alone, the fear that whispers in your ear when you're trying to fall asleep, that sense of something missing, something just out of reach. It's been there for years, and you've tried to ignore it. You've tried to drown it with distractions, with work, with people, with endless noise. But deep down, you know it's still there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the moment when you stop running and finally face it. It's easy to dismiss it as just a bad phase. Everyone does it. Everyone tells themselves it's just a temporary state. But the truth is, you know it's not. It's something deeper, something more profound. You feel the weight of it in your chest. You hear the silence between your thoughts. You feel the emptiness in your soul, the disconnect from who you really are. This isn't just about feeling sad. This is about feeling lost. This is about realizing that the life you've been living, the person you've been pretending to be, isn't real, and that realization is terrifying. Carl Jung saw this. He went through it too. He didn't call it depression. He called it a descent into the self. And it wasn't pretty. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't something anyone would voluntarily choose. It was a journey into the depths of his own unconscious, a confrontation with the darkest parts of himself. And when he did it, when he stopped running from the chaos and began to confront it, he didn't find insanity. He found truth, the kind of truth that shakes you to your core, the kind of truth that changes everything. You've been ignoring the truth for so long. You've been running from the parts of you that make you uncomfortable, the shame, the fear, the desire, the vulnerability. You've buried them because you were taught that they were wrong. You were taught that these parts of you were dirty, sinful, or broken. But now you can't avoid them any longer. They've been calling to you quietly at first, then louder until you finally hear them. And when you do, it's like a shock to your system. It's a wake-up call. The life you've been living, it's not real. It's not your life. It's a mask, a performance, and it's time to take it off. The process Jung went through was painful. He didn't just sit down one day and have an epiphany. He went through a process of unraveling, of tearing apart everything he thought he knew about himself, his life, his work. He went into the depths of his own psyche and confronted the shadows. He saw visions, met strange figures, and faced parts of himself that terrified him. But through it all, he kept listening. He didn't run. He didn't try to fix it. He sat in the chaos and let it transform him. This is what you're being called to do. You're being called to stop running, to stop pretending everything is fine when it's not, to stop numbing the pain with distractions, with people, with substances, with success. It's time to face yourself, to stop avoiding the parts of you that scare you, to face the shame, the fear, the loneliness, and the desire that you've been pushing away. Because until you do, you'll never be whole. You'll never truly live. Jung's journey wasn't about finding answers. It was about finding himself. And that's what you're being asked to do now, to stop searching for external validation, for external solutions, and to start searching inward, to face the darkness, to sit in the silence, and to let your soul speak. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be comfortable, but it will be worth it, because on the other side of this chaos, there's freedom, there's authenticity, there's truth. And when you finally confront your own darkness, when you stop running and face the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding, you'll be reborn. You'll be whole again. You might feel like you're falling apart right now, like you're losing everything you've worked for, everything you've built. But that's just the process of breaking free from the mask. That's the chaos before the transformation. That's the descent into the self. And once you go through it, once you face it, you'll emerge stronger, clearer, and more connected to who you truly are. This is your descent. This is your awakening. Will you face it? Will you walk through it? The hardest part? Realizing that you're not just facing external struggles, but internal ones. You can't outrun them forever. You might try to drown them with distractions, work, relationships, alcohol, anything to numb the pain. But sooner or later, it catches up with you. And that's when you realize you've been avoiding the one thing that's been trying to get your attention for years. This isn't about your job, your partner, or your friends. It's not about your failures or your mistakes. It's about something deeper. It's about who you are when everything else is stripped away. It's about the self you've been hiding, the version of you that you've ignored, denied, or rejected. When Jung embarked on his journey of self-confrontation, he didn't do it because he was looking for an answer. He did it because he knew that to become whole, he had to go through the pain. He had to face the parts of himself that were ugly, uncomfortable, and deeply buried in his unconscious mind. He knew that there was no transformation without chaos, no healing without pain. You're experiencing that chaos now. It feels like your world is crumbling, your identity is slipping through your fingers, and your sense of purpose is nowhere to be found. It's terrifying, isn't it? But here's the thing, that's exactly what's supposed to happen. You've been living in a cage of false identities, built from the expectations of others, your own fears, and societal pressures. And now, the cage is breaking open, the mask is slipping off, and it feels like you're losing everything. But losing everything is part of the process. You can't truly gain back your authentic self without first losing the versions of you that no longer serve you. The people pleaser, the overachiever, the perfectionist, they were all survival mechanisms. They kept you safe from the world, yes, but they also kept you from living, from being real, from being whole. The descent that Jung went through wasn't a quick fix. It wasn't something he could just jump out of once he realized what was going on. He had to sit with the chaos. He had to let it burn him down and rebuild him from the ground up. He faced his fears, his shadows, and his deepest wounds. And instead of running from them, he walked through them. He didn't try to escape the darkness. He embraced it. And that's what you need to do now. You need to sit with your own darkness. Stop trying to numb it. Stop running from it. Sit with the discomfort, the sadness, the confusion. Because when you do, you'll start to realize that everything you've been avoiding is not your enemy. It's part of you. It's the soul calling you to pay attention, to face what's been ignored for so long. You've been running from the parts of yourself that scare you, the loneliness, the grief, the anger, the shame. But you can't outrun it. It will keep following you until you face it. And once you do, once you stop resisting, you'll start to feel something you haven't felt in a long time, peace. Jung believed that facing the darkness wasn't just about confronting the pain, it was about integration, the process of bringing all the fragmented parts of yourself back together, the parts that you've abandoned, the parts that were never allowed to be seen or loved. And when you integrate them, when you bring them into the light, you become whole again. It might not happen overnight. It might take months, even years. But that's the journey you're on now, the path to wholeness. And it's not easy, it's messy, it's painful, but it's also the most rewarding thing you'll ever do. Because when you come out the other side, you'll be free. Free from the lies, free from the masks, free from the need to be someone else. This is the truth that Jung discovered. The soul doesn't need to be fixed. It needs to be seen. It needs to be heard. And when you allow that to happen, when you stop running from the darkness and start walking through it, you'll find something beautiful on the other side. You'll find yourself, the real you, not the version of you that society told you to be, but the version of you that you've always been, the one that's been waiting for you to come home. So how do you start? You start by staying with the pain, the loneliness, the confusion. You stop running, you stop numbing, you sit in the silence and listen to what your soul is trying to tell you. And when you do that, you'll realize that everything you've been searching for is already inside of you. Now, as you sit with this truth, something will start to change inside of you. It won't happen all at once. It will be slow, subtle, almost imperceptible at first. But as you stop running from the darkness and begin to embrace it, you'll feel a shift. The masks will start to crumble. The performance you've been putting on for so long will feel suffocating. And you'll realize something profound. The real you has been waiting all along. But here's the harsh reality. This journey is not about finding a quick fix. It's not about suddenly feeling better or erasing the pain. It's about being with the pain, about standing in the silence long enough for your true self to emerge. The truth is, you've been avoiding your own soul. You've been ignoring the parts of you that needed love, that needed attention, that needed to be seen. And now, that same soul is pulling you back, pulling you into the chaos of your unconscious to find something sacred, something real. Jung's descent into his own darkness wasn't about running away from his life. It was about shedding everything that wasn't truly him. The roles, the expectations, the labels, he had to let them all go. And that's the work ahead of you now. You have to face the fact that the life you've built, your job, your relationships, your identity, isn't enough anymore. It's crumbling. But in the space of that crumbling, there's room for something new. Or a version of you that is not afraid to be whole, not afraid to be real. So, what happens when you finally stop running? When you stop fighting the darkness and surrender to it? Something unexpected. You start to reconnect, not with the world outside, but with yourself, with the parts of you that were buried under years of performance, fear, and shame. These parts of you, the vulnerable, the messy, the raw, are the ones you've been avoiding. But they hold the key to your liberation. You might feel resistance. You might want to escape back to the comfort of your old life, your old identity. But here's the thing, that old life isn't you anymore. And if you go back, you'll only be stuck in the same cycle, never truly living. But if you continue moving forward, if you continue sitting with the chaos, something new will be born. This is where the real work begins. Jung's Red Book wasn't just about facing your darkness. It was about integrating it, bringing all those forgotten, repressed parts of yourself back into the light. And that process, while messy and painful, is the path to real transformation. Now, I want you to ask yourself, what are you really avoiding? What parts of yourself have you kept hidden? And most importantly, what would happen if you stopped running from them? What would happen if you sat with the discomfort and let those parts of you speak? Because, as Jung said, what you resist persists. And if you continue to avoid the truth of who you are, you'll keep repeating the same patterns. You'll keep feeling lost, disconnected, and numb. But if you choose to face yourself, if you choose to stand in the darkness long enough to understand it, you will find something truly beautiful waiting for you. Your true self. Let's talk about it. What part of yourself have you been running from? What does your soul need to hear right now? Drop a comment below, share your thoughts, and let's start a conversation. If this resonated with you, hit the like button. And if you want more insights into what happens when we face our darkness, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Share this with someone who might need to hear this message, because this journey is hard, but it's easier when we walk it together. You are not alone. You are awakening, and your soul is calling you to remember who you truly are. Let's walk this path together.